Hello there, everyone. Welcome to Blue Jackets. It's a fun Blue Jackets themed podcast. My name is Kevin, and joining me tonight is my co-host, Hefty Duck. And as always, we invite people to come on the show. So if they do or don't, different story. There's always next time. But anyways, we got some stuff to talk about. Some training camp news and other stuff going on around training camp. Training camp is here. We're going to talk about that. We have some Yegor Chinakhov news. Of course, there's those rumors about him wanting to be traded and all that other stuff. Well, it turns out people are making it a bigger issue than it actually was. So we're going to talk about that. It's been officially more than 1 year since my Uncle Doc unfortunately died, and I'm going to give a nice little tribute to him during the show. We're going to talk about that, some clips that the Blue Jackets have posted, and so much more. So welcome to the show, everyone. Let's get going.
Hell yeah. Welcome in, everybody. I hope everyone has had a good week. There's been a lot more stirring in the hockey world here lately, and I'm here for it. So just a reminder to everybody, we appreciate all of our audio listeners out there. If you too would like to listen to the audio version of our podcast, you can find us on Spotify, Google, Apple, wherever you can get podcasts. We're there. Don't forget to check us out on YouTube. We're trying to grow our YouTube channel and migrate over there a bit more from our Twitter viewers as our biggest platform currently. So check us out, and we'll be live almost every Sunday at 7 p.m. But now that the season's just about underway, we're going to be, it might be a little bit different if there's Sunday night games during the regular season, if there's other games, when and whatnot. So just keep an eye out for that in the future. And, of course, we'll be back here again next week at normal time, normal place and whatnot. So, we have some news. We have some good news. We got some weird stuff that is just made up, and just it's more of a PSA than I am trying to spread news, just awareness that someone's full of shit.
It has to be
currently
done.
As we're recording this. We're live, so we're live recording this. As we're recording, we have the I got the preseason game on right now. Blue Jackets are up 2-1. Real quick, only thing really I got to say much about that is Brendan Smith looked good in his little fight against Sam Bitten. In my opinion, I mean, anyone out there who's watching both, let me know. Who do you think won that fight? Because I think it was kind of a tie. They both got in some good hits. That's about the biggest excitement. I mean, it's an okay game, but news stuff. What should we talk about first, Kevin? What do you want to talk about first?
First off, I just like to give just a quick shout out here. So shout out to 21 Pilots, who recently had their new album Breach come out not that long ago, just over a week. And they are already number one on the Billboard. So that's pretty impressive. Your album has not existed for very long, just over a week, and you're already number one on the Billboard. And I think that's cool. And you know what? I'm going to keep talking about 21 Pilots because they got some good music. They're from Columbus, and they like the Blue Jackets. So if you like the Blue Jackets, I'm always going to give a shout out to you. So just a little quick shout out to 21 Pilots for their new album Breach being already number one on the Billboard charts. So that's pretty cool to see, a local band from Columbus and big Blue Jackets fans doing well.
Absolutely. It's pretty cool. Are they on tour right now? I wonder.
Yes. So they are doing a tour right now all over America. Plus they went in Toronto. So they started off their tour in Cincinnati, and now they're going all over the place. So that's cool. So shout out to 21 Pilots, for having your album. It's barely over a week old and it's already doing good. So that's cool to see, a local band from Columbus and who like the Blue Jackets doing well. But so that is cool. And one last thing before I get before we get going here. Going to put this up on the screen. Don't forget to join the next March of the Union Army hosted by the Union Blue Soldiers on October 13th, 2025, starting at our bar 6 o'clock p.m. So again, don't forget to join the march with the Union Blue Soldiers on October 13th, 2025, our bar 6 o'clock p.m. Join Union Blue Soldiers and your fellow Blue Jackets fans for their march as they march on to Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets.
Oh, yeah. I will be there. You should too. It'll be a fun time.
That's right. Join the march. So,
pretty dope.
All right. So, first off, let's get going here with this training camp here. So, training camp started this past Wednesday, and there's a little bit some little interesting storylines to start off here. The first big one that stands out to me is that Yegor Chinakhov has been given first line, second line minutes in all the practices at training camp so far. Why that matters is that if you look at how all season was last season, well, I shouldn't say all season, let's say 99% of the season went, because there was that first chunk of the season where Chinakhov was on the first line, did good, got 7 goals in 14 games, but then he gets hurt and he doesn't play that first line, second line spot for the rest of the season. It was your Russian, Monahan with the 2 Russians, Voronkov and Marchenko, and then your second line in some way, shape, or form usually had a Kent Johnson or Adam Fantilli and a Boone Jenner or some other variation of a different player there. But so you would think going into training camp that it'd probably be something like that. But right now, no, it's not. They are giving Yegor Chinakhov first line, second line minutes. And he did good in that role that when he did play this past season, but it's kind of surprising considering, that they're doing that. But I like it though, because you know what? They're saying, hey, you did good, but show us what you got again. Can you do that again? You want to get, and there's the whole trade thing and all that other stuff, which
we'll get into that in a bit for sure.
Yeah, we'll get that later. Get into that later. So, hey, first line, second line minutes, and I guess what you've been reading from the Columbus media so far, he's been looking really good in training camp, doing those first line, second line minutes, and that's interesting to see, and that's cool. So we'll just see, how that goes and how, that continues. And then there's also a lot of, the defensive pairings. They're trying a lot of different options there. I noticed that when paying attention to like Jeff Savoda and like Mark Strag and other people in the Columbus media, is that they are just trying a whole bunch of other stuff and just seeing where it goes, which sometimes you don't necessarily see that. It's like, this is how it's going to go and that's it. But something that Dean Evison has said when you watch him talk to the Columbus media here is that they are open to trying anything and just seeing how it goes. So that's just going to be interesting to see, how that works out. Maybe they find a new line that they like that works out, or if they go back to what has worked in the past and say, we'll just stick with that. So that's just going to be interesting to see on how that goes.
Yeah, and we're seeing some different lines in the preseason game as well. It's some interesting combinations because obviously, like, in training camp, not the entire like starter team is going to be on one like team or something like that. So you're mixing in some guys who might be subs, who might be called up from Cleveland, and so there's a lot of stuff like that going on. Sorry, I was in the middle of doing another like quick tweet for the podcast here. Yeah, what kind of stories? What other stories you've been seeing? You see anything about Elvis Merzlikins this last week and Jet Greaves?
So
I've seen something small about it. Have you seen anything about the goalie situation going on this last week?
When you watch what Dean Evison is saying to the Columbus media the first 3 days of training camp, Dean Evison has been very open about the fact that there really is no starter, that someone is going to have to earn it. So that means that you're going to have to play good in training camp. You're going to have to play good in the preseason and show us what you got. If you want that starting spot, you're going to have to show us what you got, because you could make the case why, Elvis Merzlikins should be the goalie. You could also have some points and where you can make the case where maybe he shouldn't. And it's the same exact thing for Jet Greaves. You can make the case why he shouldn't be the goalie right now, and you can make the case why he should, because both goalies have shown that they can be good goalies. They can help you win games, and both goalies have shown that there have been games that the Blue Jackets have won because both goalies were just really good and they just stole a game for the Blue Jackets. So in terms of who's going to start, I have my own feelings about that. If I had to take a guess, it's probably Elvis Merzlikins, because they know what they have from him. They know that they can count on him consistently. Elvis Merzlikins has played, a full 82 game hockey schedule. He's done that. We know what that's like. We don't know that about Jet Greaves. He's played good, but it's kind of a small sample size. And what can you do when you have to play a full NHL season? Can you do that? And the book is out on you now, Jet Greaves. People know what you're about. They can go back and look at the tape, whether it be in the minors or with your time with the Blue Jackets now. They can see what's going on there, and they can see, okay, what you're good at and what you're not good at. And they will start to pick apart your game. They will find holes. What are you going to do? Are you going to be able to handle that? Can you counter that? Or are you going to be one of those goalies that where you start off good and then like 1 to 3 years down the road, he's not in the league anymore. And you go, oh man, whatever happened to that guy? He used to be really good. What happened to that guy? Well, unfortunately, he had a good run there, but then teams figured him out and then he couldn't find a way to counter that. That is the thing. And that's the only thing that concerns me about some of these people that are just so willy-nilly, really, to just throw him the starter's job right away. It's just like, because we've seen this story before, not just with the Blue Jackets, but just, sports in general, where a guy starts off hot, he plays really good, and like, oh, that's the guy. And then sometimes he's not the guy. Teams figure him out, and then he's done. You hope that's not the case. You hope where it's the other side of the spectrum to where teams figure him out, he counters that, and then he has a good long career. That's what you want. That's the reason why you wouldn't pick Jet Greaves as the starter position. But on the flip side of that, why you would, it's hard to not look at what he's done. A big reason why the Monsters were in the conference final was in part because of Jet Greaves. There were other reasons too, but Jet Greaves played a big role in that. And then any time that Jet Greaves has had a chance to play for the Blue Jackets, it's been awesome. There's been games that the Blue Jackets have won because Jet Greaves stole that game. The big reason that the Blue Jackets go on that heater towards the end of the season where they don't lose a game and they win their final 7 games, it's in part because of Jet Greaves. Like that talent, that run, that heater that he went on, it's hard to not ignore that. You have to consider that, and that and other reasons could be a reason why you give him the start, you give him the goalie job. But Dean Evason has basically said that it's like there is no starter. Like, you're going to have to earn it. You're going to have to play it, have a good training camp. You're going to have a good preseason if you want to earn it.
Yeah, and one thing too is like just looking back at last season where the Blue Jackets missed the playoffs by a single game. That means from the start, the very first game of the season, you have to be putting your best foot forward. And with the unknowns around Jet Greaves, he might be amazing in training camp. He could even I don't fully know. He could be doing better than Elvis, but you have to go with the experience to start, in my opinion, because he's got that experience. He's not going to fold. You know that, like, he's been there before. I'm talking about Merzlikins here. And so he's I think I saw an article refer to him as the incumbent starter, meaning that he's coming in from last year as a starter, year before that and year before that. But and I think that Elvis wants to elevate his game even more if it's possible. I think it's nice seeing that we have a couple of good backups. I saw Ivan Fedotov. He started the preseason game with the Blue Jackets, and he was looking real good out there, stopped a bunch of shots. I think Evan Gardner's in there now. But, nice that we have some backup. I think that's a little bit of relief for everybody, too. That way there's no, if someone gets hurt and you call someone up, that way the monsters just aren't shit out of luck and have, one with, an e-bug or something like that. That's not a feasible way to play hockey, is with no goaltenders. So super stoked about training camp. Is there any other training camp stuff that you would wanted to touch on?
Well, it seems like that from what you've been reading from different parts of the Columbus media is that there's a couple things. One of them is that one of the things that Dean Evason, Don Waddell, and everyone within the Blue Jackets organization told Dmitry Voronkov is that we like you as a player. You've been a good player for us, but there's just certain things that you need to fix. You need to fix your conditioning, and there's some other stuff that you need to fix too, because this has happened the first 2 seasons with Dmitry Voronkov, where he starts off good and then he's just not as good because he's not quite used to playing an 82 game season. It's much different compared to what they play over in Russia. So that takes some time to get used to. And they basically told him that, you need to, get better and, lose a little bit of weight and get a little bit better conditioning. And, you do that, you'll be okay. And essentially that's what he did, because he comes into training camp, he's a little bit lighter, and his conditioning was way better. Like, they said that you could tell that there was a difference, that he took what they said to heart and he did it, that he really did what they said, what they wanted him to do. And Don Waddell even said that, after talking to some of the guys over the summer just to catch up, just to see how they're doing, Dmitry Voronkov was one of those guys that they would talk to. Obviously like a translator, but they talk and be like, hey, how things are going. And Voronkov essentially told them that everything's been good, and I'm going to the gym 5 days a week, and I'm exercising, I'm working out, I'm trying my best, I'm putting everything I have into it. And you see it, and it's benefiting, and it's been beneficial to him. So that's good to know that they told him, we need you to fix these things. He did that, and he's coming to training camp much better shape, and he's in a much better position, and he's looking good right now. And then Adam Fantilli, I guess what I've been reading from the Columbus media too, is that it looks like he's a whole new different person. Like he's really looks even better now. More so that's interesting and that's cool, to see. And a lot of, and I agree with this, is that, when Dean Evison were talking about him, is that they like what they saw of him when he came into training camp, and they believe that, they think he's a guy that can take that next step. I agree with that. It'll just, what kind of step does he take? It'll be interesting to see how it goes, but I think he can do it. So a lot of interesting stuff that are coming out of training camp so far.
Yeah, I've heard a couple of interesting storylines too. And of course, now that all the players are in Columbus, I believe Matejchuk was joining them a little late due to injury at training camp, but I think he's going to be there here, is there now. But so before we talk about the actual Chinakhov news, I just want a little PSA out there for anyone who's on Twitter and happens to see some crazy unsubstantiated rumors out there. I saw 2 accounts today. It started out with one account, and I'll actually call this one out because they've since deleted their entire account. It was called Fantastic Stats. It was at Tem something or other, but that wasn't their at, but that's their name on their profile. So that a profile is deleted. And the tweet that was sent out was about Yegor Chinakhov. They said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit because I can't 100% exactly remember. Let me see if I have this up real quick. I don't have it up anywhere. But they said that trade talk is being finalized between Blue Jackets involving the Blackhawks and the Oilers for trading Chinakhov. And even someone else below it posted like, oh, they're going to be going for these players. That was not an accredited media source that tweeted that. That is someone that doesn't have credentials that people are saying was possibly just like a 14 or 15-year-old kid that's talking shit on the internet. I mean, you got to expect that with the internet. So just take everything you read with a grain of salt because this report came out. I believe the tweet went out yesterday. Like I said, it's since deleted now. You can go see if you can try to find screenshots of it or something. But yeah, so that was tweeted out yesterday. Well, you want to know what happened 2 days prior to that tweet? Well, like I was mentioning, how the media is swirling around, all these players coming back. The one and only, the great Mark Scheig, had a little conversation with.
He had a conversation with Yegor Chinakhov, and like many people in the Columbus media,
I wanted to
ask him about it.
I wanted to credit Mark Scheig real quick. I just wanted to triple check as to what who he writes for again. He's the app for the hockey writer, and yeah, he had a little talk with Chinakhov and I remember reading this too from somewhere else that Dean Evison really wanted to just sit down and have a conversation, with Chinakhov, a little bit of a preseason sit down. And while Dale has a quote, I'm going to paraphrase this too a little bit. So sorry, but I don't like directly reading from other people's articles just because, sometimes I will, but Everson said something about should a player be angry if they don't play? Yes, absolutely. If they're not angry about not playing, I don't want them on my team. That was a bit of a paraphrase, but that's the essential bits of what he said. And I'm a big fan of that statement because he's right. If you're content just clocking in, and you're like, oh, I'm scratched tonight. I'm just gonna go drink coffee up in the media booth and sit on my hands or something, I guess. Like, if you're content with that, what are you doing in a professional level of sports?
Man.
But also, I mean, I remember clearly last year, Don Waddell sat down with every single player.
Like, do you want to be here?
Yeah. Do you want to be here? Do you want to be part of the solution? And there was a couple players that didn't, and they're not there anymore.
Right.
The two off the top of my head, Patrick Line and David Yurchek.
Adam
they're in what?
Adam Boquist.
Oh, and Adam Boquist, yeah. And absolutely, I'm not throwing shade at them. They viewed their fortunes as being better somewhere else. But what I'm saying is, he had talked to Chinakhov then. He wanted to be part of the solution. Now, there was earlier in the summer, it was July 17th, that Chinakhov's agent had talked about him wanting a trade out of Columbus. Even at that time, even though it was confirmed through like a Russian news source, and it was actually in a Russian news article with a direct quote from Chinakhov did come out after that later and said that, no, this was a misunderstanding. Like, he said, I don't remember exactly what went on there, but there was reported then later that, like, Chinakhov saying, that's not exactly what I said. Well, now the one and only Mark Scheig talked to Chinakhov, and it appears that Chinakhov and Dean Evason have reached some sort of understanding, and that Chinakhov may be open to staying now. And as far as it looks right this moment, Chinakhov is going to be starting the season as a Blue Jacket.
Mm-hmm.
That rumor out there from an unsubstantiated news source, just check these people's profiles before you're wildly sharing shit, because I saw like 300 likes and like 100 shares or something like that. Look at it for 2 seconds. You can look at their account. You can see all the other crazy wild shit that they've been saying for the past like month or two that has not come true. And you just know. Follow Mark Scheig. He's a real hockey writer. He writes for The Hockey Writer. He's a PHWA member at Mark_Scheig. Scheig's SCHEIG on x.com/Twitter. Yeah, that's about all I have to say on that certain topic. So take it away here, Kev.
So Yegor Chinakhov was one of the many people that talked to the Columbus media to start training camp. You also had guys like Adam Fantilli and Boone Jenner and Matthew Olivier, Justin, Erica Branson and Dante Fabro, Zach Werenski, just to name some of the guys that talked to the Columbus media. Now, Yegor Chinakhov's turn, and he does get asked a bunch of questions, but, the main questions that he does get asked by the Columbus media is basically the whole trade rumor thing and, him having to talk with Dean Evason. And this question is a question that Mark Scheig asked Yegor Chinakhov, and it says, quote, are you open to staying here longer if things were to work out better in your opinion? And then this is what Yegor Chinakhov said. Yeah, for sure. I know here everything, so I love the city, and my wife knows everything about Columbus. So the whole trade thing, well, that's sure it could still happen, but if we're being honest here, it's a bigger, people made it to be a bigger issue than it actually is, blew it kind of out of proportion. And here we have Chinakhov basically saying that, yeah, he's open to staying and he likes it. And this part right here, I'm going to highlight it right here. My wife knows everything about Columbus. You see, we've talked about this many times on the show, Hefty Duck and I. Certain places of America there are pros and cons, but there's stuff that like they're what they're known for and what they're really good at. Columbus is no different. The thing that Columbus is one of the many things that Columbus is known for, and something that Columbus/Columbus area is good at, is this is a great place to not only play hockey, but it's a great place to raise a family. You want to be able to have a nice night out on the town. You want to go to a bar. You want to go to a restaurant. You want to go like a store, like a mall or something. No one's going to bug you, generally speaking, because we're not that type of people. We may point to you and say, oh, points, oh my God, I saw Adam Fantilli at, a mall or a store. He was at this restaurant. Oh, that's cool. But generally speaking, we're not bugging you. Also, great place to raise a family. So, I see that you're married there, Yegor Chinakhov, You figure at some point with, next year or so, or whenever, sometime down in the future, you're probably going to have some kids. And you know what? Columbus is perfect for that. The Columbus/Columbus area is perfect for that. It is perfect to raise a family, have a wife, a kid, get yourself a house. You be in a nice neighborhood. The schools are good. You can, like I said, you can have a nice night out on the town. You go to a restaurant, a bar, a store, and generally speaking, no one's really going to bug you. You can just, play hockey and enjoy your life. Have a nice night out on the town. So when you say, oh, my wife knows everything about Columbus. Yep, that's Columbus. Columbus is perfect for that. It's perfect for families. So I'm just saying, Yegor Chinakhov, if in some hypothetical scenario, if you still want to be traded, fine. But, just throwing this one out there. You have a wife and you're probably going to have a kid eventually. So Columbus is perfect for families. So I would stay in Columbus if I was you. That's just me though.
Yeah. I have the direct quote here from Dean Evison, so I'm going to actually just fully read it at the moment because there's more to it than what I said, but this is word for word. When a player doesn't play, he should he should always be upset, right? If he isn't, then we don't want that player. Should he be upset that he didn't play? Absolutely, and it's fine to voice your opinion, but at the end of the day, there's some responsibility from us as an organization, and there's responsibility on the player as well. Hopefully it's a fresh start, a fresh season, and we'll just see where it lands here. Especially if you get Chinakhov back out there. I mean, he's on a team with two Russian friends of Marchenko and Voronkov, whom he met through playing hockey here, I think. But he's been with the team for quite a while. Like he said, I mean, Yegor Chinakhov, he's not quite as, I don't think he posts online quite as much as like Elvis Merzlikins might and stuff like that. So, I kind of forget sometimes that he's married and whatever. Real quick, just because the game just ended, the Blue Jackets won their first preseason game 4-1. Congrats for them. Looking good so far. Now we got to keep it up, keep the energy up because these don't matter for shit. So just keep the energy up. This is good. Now, it could matter for their confidence a little bit or whatever. And,
No. Listen, there's positive energy. You got to keep building on that. You got to keep going.
Yep, absolutely. And that's something too with Yegor Chinakhov. Just I feel like the team surrounding him with so much positive energy and everything. Like,
Yep.
Yep. I thought about that too. I was like, well, I wonder if when he gets back in town and all the other players get back in town and he's talking with everyone, chatting, playing camp and all that, what he would think still.
Yes.
Would he still feel that strongly? Or was it truly a misunderstanding? Or was it truly even not fully a misunderstanding, but maybe parts were like he was like asking for a trade, not demanding one. from what I
Right.
understand. But then also at this point, at the moment, he's not asking for one. But just something to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the season. I mean, I'm looking forward to have Chinakhov here for uninjured for a full season. And part of the thing too is I think why he's not going to be able to see that first line for a little bit as well. One, Boone Jenner's going to be starting the season healthy, and two, they just got in Charlie Coyle. So with those two guys like starting the season out with them and all that, like it's just hard to find spots for them. But imagine we have almost 3 lines that could almost be a first line on some teams. That's fantastic. That's great. It's amazing. The fourth line's looking tight too. Do you have anything else about Chinakhov here?
Well, there's things I like about it is that you said this earlier on in the show, which is he showed up early. He didn't have to do that. You don't have to do that. You can, because these guys, they don't get a lot of time to, be home and hang out with their family and friends. They don't get to see them a lot. So it's understandable when you see all these guys, like they usually come in like a day or two before training camp starts because they don't get a lot of time with their family and friends back home. But Yegor Chinakhov made the decision to come to Columbus early. That in itself is impressive, and I like that because you know what? It shows that he's really serious about playing. Because even in some hypothetical scenario that he did want to get traded, this is another positive example because he's showing up early, he's showing what he's got, and he's going to work hard. And then in the event he still gets traded, that's going to benefit him more because it's, he'll play better. Teams will see that and say, okay, yeah, I want to trade for that guy, compared to if, maybe he didn't come in as early, didn't play as good, and then he's still in some hypothetical scenario that he still wants to get traded. Teams would look at that and say, I don't want to trade for that. So like from that perspective, that helps. Or as of right now, if that seems like he said it's a misunderstanding, so doesn't really want to be traded right now, that's even, obviously beneficial to the Blue Jackets. And him showing up early when he didn't have to shows commitment, shows that he's serious about helping out the Blue Jackets and getting a head start and trying to be off to a good start for the Blue Jackets, trying to help out the Blue Jackets. So, and I like that. And if he plays good, then that could also benefit from, because sometime down the road, the Blue Jackets will give him another contract with more money. So I like that he showed up early because it shows that he's serious and that he's ready to go. I really do like that. And if we get the Yegor Chinakhov that we know that we can get, the guy that's really good, the guy that has first line, second line talent, the guy that is really good at shooting the puck, one of the best shots on the Blue Jackets, where he scores goals that very few people can score. If you get that, if you get the Yegor Chinakhov that had 7 goals in his first 14 games last season, wow, then the Blue Jackets will be really good to go, and they'll be on a whole new level, and it will make their offense, which was already good, top 10 and the best team on 5-on-5, and a 26% home power play, even better. So that's interesting to see, and I like that. So him showing up early, I like that.
Yeah, that's big props to him, especially with all the things being said. He definitely didn't have to do that. But if indeed like the season starts, if indeed he's looking for a trade still at some point, he's doing the best possible thing he can right now, being as loyal as you can be to the team you're signed to, while still maybe keeping in mind and he's like I said, he's possibly open to just staying now, probably according to from what I understand, it hasn't been fully rescinded, the
No.
request, but it's very likely that he'll stick around for quite a while. So this is the last year on his contract. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe more. I feel like it's more likely, more like a trade deadline thing, if something were to happen.
Yeah.
Because Chinakhov being out there, if he can make it to trade deadline without major injury, huge trade chip. If that's what needs to happen at that point, I foresee the Blue Jackets being more of buyers than sellers at the trade deadline, whether or not they are guaranteed a playoff spot or not.
Yeah.
Because even last year it seemed like they're more buying than selling, and Don Waddell, he seems to be aggressive in some ways. It's like what was that one quote, talk softly but carry a big stick or something like that. I feel like Don Waddell lives that, or is that, very. I'm really not seen him get upset much about much of anything. It's possible that he does. Everyone's human, but and I guess I was a little bit surprised too by Dean Evison's character. I just didn't really know him very well, and I don't know him personally, obviously, but just after watching him coach this team and how good natured they are too, I think that's really, really positive thing for him. So, looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing what Chinakhov can do. I hope he does well. Whether he wants to stay with the team or not, the better he does, the better it's going to be for him in the long run.
Yes.
And the Blue Jackets.
That's
if he does really good, we get better trade. He does really good, he stays on the team. Hell yeah, let's go.
That's right. So we got Carter Gunnels. Let's go, Lance.
What up, dog? How's it going?
Yeah. Okay. We got Festive Panda W Lance.
Oh, what's up, Festive?
Oh, come on now, Festive Panda. Come on.
He says, never mind. We love Kevin.
That's
good buddy of mine.
Okay. Never mind. We love Kevin. Okay.
You notice the adjective animal.
Okay. Because when I saw this, I'm like, oh, come on now. Don't do me like that. Come on now. But it's okay.
It's pretty good.
But it's okay. It's okay. He redeemed himself. It's okay. He redeemed himself. That's okay. That's okay. Good to know that you love me. That's good. That's good. Anyways. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes for Yegor Chinakhov. All right. Next up, the Blue Jackets kind of had some different clips from, training camp that they posted on their Instagram page that I'm going to share. So here we go. Have you heard?
Loving the new the sounds of the sticks and pucks and ice and shit. We're getting there. We're almost there. And at least there is some sort of hockey that's relevant to watch right now. I love the NHL Network, but there's only so many classic games I can watch that aren't the team that I root for anyway. That I'm just okay, can you just. There's only so many times I can watch the top 20 wingers right now, or whatever that's called.
Yeah,
it's just all that's running. I get it, but dude, there's still news going on in the hockey world. You could do a new NHL tonight every now and then. Things are getting heating up. Things are gonna be back to full swing here soon, I'm sure. But
yeah, so let's go back. So at the training camp practice, this past Saturday, you could have had some donuts from Tim Hortons, which is awesome. Banger. That's just awesome. Love it. Because Tim Hortons, you have good donuts. I'm a big fan, and I have gotten your donuts many times when I've been in Columbus. And
the donuts are better than the coffee. No offense.
Yeah.
Tim Hortons.
Yeah. And you know what? I've gotten. There's been times where I've gotten half a dozen donuts, and I've brought from Tim Hortons, and I brought them home to my house in Illinois, and then eat them. So shout out to Tim Hortons. Could have got some at the Blue Jackets training camp practice.
Oh yeah.
Boone Jenner going out onto the ice.
The man himself. So glad that pretty much starting with an entirely healthy team this year.
That's right.
That's a huge plus.
Shot from training camp practice. So that's just cool. That is just cool. Here we are. Look at them. They're getting ready for practice. There we go. It's just great. Just great.
I could see a big move or two yet before the season starts too, especially once like preseason games are played, and there's scouts everywhere all the time from every team, including the Blue Jackets have scouts out there. Other certain teams, maybe teams that they're watching. Obviously, there's some European ones, but you never know. You never know what could happen yet. It was neat. Got to see a little bit of Hudson Fasching today play on the ice. Looked pretty good out there. Fedotov looked good out there. Oh, we have another comment here from Christopher Nienaber. He says, guys, how early should I arrive for the home opener? I want to get up to Columbus early enough to get a seat at the bar.
Okay.
So, it's a good question. What time does the game start? Is that 7? Okay. So they open the doors usually an hour before game time.
Yeah.
And generally, the hour goes by pretty quick. If you go in there like a half hour to an hour like ahead of time, by the time you get to the restaurant, get a snack, get your seat, it's damn near close to game time.
Yeah.
So if you want to be at the bar for like an hour or so, it's gonna be pretty packed probably by 5.
Oh yeah.
Like not a little earlier.
Oh no. Early. Look, he says the bar, so I'm just gonna assume that he does what most Blue Jackets fans do. It means that he's going to our bar, which most Blue Jackets fans do, and I'm one of those people. I go to our bar before the Blue Jackets games, like 9 times out of 10. That's what every Blue Jackets fan does. I've never gone to any other place before a Blue Jackets game besides our bar, because that's just the place to go before a Blue Jackets game. So based off your comment, I'm just going to assume that when you say bar, you mean our bar, because that's where most Blue Jackets fans go before Blue Jackets games. So get up as early as you can, because our bar before Blue Jackets games fills up quickly, especially for the home opener. Like, I've been going to the home opener for the Blue Jackets since 2014. And the home opener, that's when it really fills up pretty quick. Like, you get there and, a decent crowd there. And then before you know it, you look up and it's packed and wait, what the heck happened here? How did it get this packed this quick? But that's just how it goes. So you try your best to get up as early to Columbus as you can if you want to have a spot at our bar. Preferably at least by, let's say, 3-4 o'clock, because it fills up pretty quickly. So try the best you can to get up as early as you can.
I'll tell you my plan, because I live a couple hours away from Columbus, so I gotta leave pretty early in my day. My actual plan for the whole thing is I'm probably gonna get a hotel room at night. So once I'm able to check in around 3, I'm gonna try to be in Columbus at 3. So that means I'm gonna have to leave around 12:30, 1 o'clock. And luckily I have off work that day. So I'm gonna get down there. There's plenty of things to do in Columbus while you wait, if you were to wait. Like if you didn't want to be to our bar until around 5 or so like that, and you're there around 3, there's plenty of things to go do or eat, and there's plenty of things to do on a budget as well. I mean, just simply walking around the city, you'll find things, but some things I like to do, I like to go shopping a little bit. There's what's
North
the
Market.
the fresh market down there they got going on. Tons of restaurants and everything. Christopher says that he was planning on getting there by 4. Also, it's a holiday, so some people it's a holiday. What is the holiday?
Is that Columbus Day?
When it is Columbus Day and
No
Indigenous
way.
Peoples Day. Oh, okay. I guess you're right then. So yeah, it could be even busier because of that. Being the whole city of Columbus, it's their day.
God damn.
I'm
Oh my.
joking.
I just want to know who did that with the schedule to say, hey, Blue Jackets, you get to play on Columbus Day. Who did that?
I think that's kind of cool. I mean, obviously they mean Christopher Columbus or whatever,
No.
but I think that's pretty funny.
You're called the Columbus Blue Jackets and you're playing on Columbus Day. Ha! So no, but so you plan to get in there by 4. So yeah, that's good. That's a good time to get there. Get there by 4 because that's going to fill up pretty quickly there, not just because of all the bars and the restaurants, including our bar, but also the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets obviously have their opening night festivities with the plaza party, with all the music and everything, and obviously the blue carpet is going to be there too.
Yeah.
So that's going to be packed and fun. But
so much stuff throughout the whole day. Yeah,
there's going to be so much stuff going on.
Is there going to be like a band and stuff this
day.
year again? I think last year wasn't there a band playing outside?
I did not see.
Or was that a different event?
I didn't see it there, but then again, I was only there for the blue carpet because they pushed their home opener stuff 2 days later because they.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. I kind of forgot about that.
So there's that. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on that day besides the Blue Jackets, plaza party and the blue carpet and everything, but as well as if you're looking for something to do, Christopher, you should join the march that same day, October 13th, 6:00 p.m. at our bar, marching on the Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets. This is a great event before the Blue Jackets home opener. So if you're looking for something to do, this is the event to do. Just, throwing that one out there,
So we got the Robo Buck here leaving us a comment as well. If you two would like to leave a comment, we usually get the comments from YouTube like almost right away. Yeah. And we get more comments that way, but you can leave a comment on Twitter or on X, but it has to be like on the actual stream. Like it can't be on one of the reposts. I think you have to like click the stream, have the stream open in the comment envelope. But if you would like to, just for example, here we have at Kitten.
Yeah,
I agree. Great event. Anyway, back to RoboBuck here real quick. We love answering questions during the show. We will completely derail the show just to talk about whatever you kind of want to talk about because like I know what I want to talk about. I know what Kevin wants to talk about. Maybe that's not what people want to hear. So if you got something that you want to listen to us discuss or discuss with us, we'll read your comments. Anyway, this one's not that deep, but the RoboBuck leaving the game against the Blues, we won 4-1. Yes, that was a fantastic preseason game by the Blue Jackets. Oftentimes preseason doesn't fully mean as much because half the teams maybe not going to be there. And in this case, tonight was kind of interesting though. So who was wearing the A's was Olivier, Voronkov, and Sillinger. So they were basically the acting captains for this game. Well, alternate captains or whatever. So I think that they were kind of out there as the top line then too. Honestly, I wasn't paying attention to lines and numbers and players who were out there as much as I was just kind of like I had the game on while I was doing some research for the podcast tonight. But so absolutely awesome. Can't wait to see him play again tomorrow night and the next night as well. We'll be maybe discussing a bit more of that next week then as well.
Yeah. But yeah.
And yeah, pretty cool.
Yep. So Heartsy's right. The march is awesome. He's been to it and he liked it. It's a great event, so you should totally go to it. Just throwing that one out there. You know. So next up, another video that the Blue Jackets posted from training camp on their Instagram page that I'm going to share.
Oh, do you have it up?
It should be up.
Are you gonna add it?
Oh, bingo card. Damn it.
Hey, man, an hour in.
I did make it an hour in. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of myself.
I think you just took it off completely now.
All right, we're gonna fix that. All right. Okay, so here we go. And now we're gonna put it up on the screen. All right, there we go. So here we go. We're gonna
That's what happens, when we're doing it live. We don't
Yeah.
We don't make no edits. I don't even edit shit for when I put it up on the audio podcast. Like, if we say something dumb, like, you're gonna hear it. Like,
yeah,
it is where it is.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Sometimes, but like, I like our format where it's a very like raw presentation of us just kind of yapping. So, anyway.
Hefty Duck is right. What he said is very true. Anyways, there it is.
Ooh, I got some videos here from Media Day. What did you think? Did you see the lighting of all these pictures of the uniforms? Did you see like how like oddly blue the uniforms were?
Yeah.
If in my like artistic mind, I kind of look at it as being almost blue violet with a very tinge of it. It's just it just seemed weird. Now, personally, what I think it is the bright lights on the uniforms with the dark lights behind it, and it just made for an interesting contrast. And maybe the photos were edited a little bit too. People edit things for clarity and to make them look nice and everything. It was just, anyway, the reason I bring this up is because in this video I can see that blue of that jersey. I don't know out there if you guys are watching on your computer, you can probably put full screen and see, but maybe you'll see it here when you roll the video.
Yes. So here we go. We got Jet Greaves.
In that camera, that jersey looks totally normal.
Yeah. Well, Miles Wood in a Blue Jackets jersey.
So number 17? Or
it's back
it's like
up
it
here.
was. So apparently, I think it was Brendan Smith was wearing number 7 out on the ice today.
I think that's 11.
That's yeah. That's right. Fantilli changed. I don't know why I was thinking. I was like, but someone else is 11. But yeah, formerly number 7 was Sean Crowley's number. So
there you go. And Olivier hyping up the crowd.
Love seeing Olivier.
Well, one more time, but.
So yeah, the very first thing that popped up there was a Grateful Dead ticket package thing with the Grateful Dead jersey and whatnot. Yeah. That's if you're into that stuff, that's pretty fun. There's a couple of the theme nights that I'm really interested in going into. I really always like the Military Appreciation Night, First Responders Night. Those are some fun ones to go to.
You definitely got to do Ohio State Night once. I did it. It was cool.
That is definitely pretty neat. I'll probably every year I don't really know what to do for like New Year's ever, because I'm a grown adult and I just don't really party that much. So me and my buddy, we normally just go to the hockey game on New Year's Eve. Or the day before. It's a fun time. I really like it. It's good. They do a fireworks display indoors, and let me tell you what, when I heard, I was like, fireworks display indoors, sweet, we're gonna get a couple sparklers, great. No, this shit was legit. It kind of concerned me. Like, I'm sure they had it under control. They're professionals. Whoever's setting this off is all professionals. They have everything under regulation and whatever. But I remember talking to my buddy. I'm like, this feels kind of dangerous. Like we're inside. Those are like big flames coming up and big sparks. I'm like, is the heat gonna melt the ice a little bit? Anyway, it's a good time. So check out some of those theme nights this year. Once again, we have no affiliation with the Blue Jackets. I'm just a big fan of what the organization does and what they do here. So we're not required nor paid or anything like that to promote that shit. I just have that's why I said earlier I don't like all of them. The Grateful Dead one's okay.
Yeah.
I'm not as big on like the Star Wars ones and stuff like that. Like some people like love that stuff. That's really cool. They are cool. They are cool jerseys, but it's just not my thing. Not my thing.
So I'll play it one more time and we'll do something else here.
One of the ones I do like though is for the AHL, for some of the kids takeovers, stuff like that. They'll have like a Nickelodeon jersey. And I remember like the one the Cleveland Monsters had the one year was like orange with like green slime on it or something. It was pretty freaking cool.
All right, that's it. So,
what about these warm-up jerseys though? The red and the light blue. When are those going to be up for sale? When can we buy those?
I last year on the show, I kept talking about how those light blue jerseys are just so awesome, and I would buy one and please sell them. So I'm gonna say that again, just like hey, Blue Jackets, go make those light blue jerseys available because they're cool and they're awesome, and I would definitely buy one. So please make those light blue jerseys available at the blue line, and I will definitely give the Blue Jackets money and buy that that light blue Blue Jackets jersey because it's cool and it's awesome. So Blue Jackets, please make that light blue jersey available.
Do it to be sick. And the red one too. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of red Blue Jackets jerseys, but that one in particular being a practice jersey and not like something that they're going to wear in a game ever.
Yeah.
I get it. It's really nice, easy color to see at practice, red versus blue.
Yeah. So, but
anyway, the reason I brought that up is because it showed Boone Jenner in one of the practice jerseys for our audio listeners. I'm not that AD HD. I kind of am, but whatever. So, anyway, this is a sick picture. Where'd you get this from?
Okay, so this is years ago. This one, I want to say this is at least from like 2016. Brutus, Ohio State's mascot, posted this, and it was a picture of him wearing a Blue Jackets jersey, and I'm gonna assume he's at a Blue Jackets game. Maybe I don't know, but I'm just gonna assume that's where this picture was taken. And anytime there's something to do with like the Blue Jackets in Ohio State, I've always used this picture because it's just it's just like a perfect picture,
Yeah,
Ohio State and Blue Jackets in one picture, and of course, the Blue Jackets are continuing the tradition of having an Ohio State night like they do every year, and this upcoming season is no different. March 6th, 2026 is when the Blue Jackets will be having a Ohio State night. And I've actually been to one of those. It was March of 2018, Ohio State night, and like Brutus was there, and like the Ohio State band was there playing music during the game, and there was a whole bunch of other stuff that you did that day. And you know what? I thought it was a good night, well put together between the Blue Jackets and Ohio State, and it's cool to see when the two big dogs in Columbus come together and show support for each other.
Not that the crew ain't a big part of Columbus, but I don't think the MLS is quite as big as the NHL at the moment.
No.
Maybe one day.
The Crew and the Clippers, Ohio State, the Blue Jackets, they all play an important part in Columbus. But from the two ones who get the most attention are Ohio State and the Blue Jackets. And from an outsider perspective, if you think Columbus from a sports perspective, you're probably thinking about Ohio State or the Blue Jackets. So that's what I mean when I say the two big dogs in Columbus, because they are the two big names. They are the two big names in Columbus. They are the two big, sports teams that get the most attention for Columbus.
And the women's hockey team.
Well, yeah, because you're playing in four straight national championships, winning two of them. Of course, you're going to get some attention now. Ohio State, let's go, get off your ass, and let's get better hockey facilities, because the shot is awful, and the women play at a pee-wee rink, which is embarrassing. So, that needs to be better.
Embarrassing for multiple time national champions. Yeah.
It is. It is legit embarrassing that the team that has played in 4 national championships, winning 2 of them, are still playing in a pee-wee rink. And I wouldn't be surprised if that hurt Ohio State in recruiting, where the women's team is maybe trying to get some of these top players to come to Ohio State, and then they see where they play and go, oh, and sometimes maybe they say yes to Ohio State, and maybe that sometimes they say no. They see that and goes, well, no, I could go to a different school that's just as good and have good hockey facilities.
And if they're truly on their way to, if they're trying to get on their way to the NHL, and because dude, Ohio State is a great school for medical doctors, for their Ohio Agriculture College. It's just really close to me up here where I live. They have some really amazing like academic stuff like that. And if you're paying your way through college by playing hockey, that's great if that's what you want to do. But if you're on your journey to the NHL, unless you're Mason Lohrei or a select other very small amount of players, you probably want to go to Michigan, Minnesota, the other Michigan, the
Wisconsin,
the Golden Gophers and all that shit. So, not to say that's not possible, Mason Lohrei, but yeah.
No, it's true. What Hefty Duck you're saying there is true. Is yes, there have been some guys that gone to Ohio State. They played hockey, and they've gone to the NHL, and good on you for doing that. But for most people, what matters to them, generally speaking, is if you're good at hockey, they want to know that they're going to go to a good school that has good facilities and can show that you can consistently produce top talent and get them ready for the NHL. And the unfortunate reality is that Ohio State really can't say that. But schools like Michigan, Minnesota, Michigan State, Wisconsin, North Dakota, Boston College, just to name a couple schools, they can say that because they have a history being much better at hockey, and they have a history of just developing some of these top guys and getting them ready for the NHL. We keep saying this on the show, but it's like Adam Fantilli, where'd he go to school? Michigan. Jack Johnson, when he was on the Blue Jackets, where did he go to school? Michigan. Kent Johnson,
where did he from though?
Kent Johnson, where did he go to school? Michigan. Zach Werenski, where did he go to school? Michigan. Johnny Gaudreau, where did he go to school? Boston College. Cam Atkinson, where did he go to school? Boston College. You can just go down the list of there's all these top guys. Where do they go? And the unfortunate reality is that it's not Ohio State. And Caden Lindstrom, we've talked about this on the show multiple times, that it came down to 2 schools, Michigan and Michigan State. And why? Because when he was talking to the Columbus media, he said that I enjoyed both. I'm paraphrasing it, but he's basically like, I enjoyed both. I enjoyed visiting both Michigan schools. Both of them had good facilities, and I liked the program. And that's why he ultimately picked Michigan State, because he liked the facilities. He liked the players, the coaches, and he liked how, paraphrasing it, but basically he said he liked how Michigan State ran their team like an NHL team. Like, that stuff matters. And unfortunately, Ohio State, they're not quite there yet. Maybe one day they will be there and that will be cool, but they're just not there yet. And what that kind of makes that even more embarrassing is that if there was ever a chance for you to maybe get someone like a Caden Lindstrom, it was now. Because from July 2024 up until the end of the season, April 2025, Caden Lindstrom was in Columbus. Caden Lindstrom was, in and around Columbus. He was doing stuff. He was exploring the area. People say, oh, I saw him at a restaurant. I saw him here. I saw him there. He's hanging out with different Blue Jackets players. The Blue Jackets had a get-together at an Ohio State football game. Caden Lindstrom was there. He saw what that environment in Ohio State was. He was at the Blue Jackets outdoor game at Ohio State. So again, he saw that environment again of what it's like to be at Ohio State. So if there was ever a chance to maybe where you could have gotten him, it was there. But you couldn't get it done because ultimately he said, nah, it's the facilities, it's the players, it's the coaches, how they run their program like an NHL team, and that was Michigan State. Maybe one day Ohio State can say that. I would love to say that, but it's the unfortunate reality. You really can't when you compare them to where the top schools and where the top guys are going. It's schools like Wisconsin, Michigan State, Minnesota, Boston College, and Michigan. Maybe one day that changes, and I would like to see that change. Hopefully it does. But until then, that's just how it is, unfortunately. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. And I'd like to add to this just because I don't want people to really conflate these two things. When we talk about this, I'm not talking about the individual player, like the coaches. I'm not talking about like the staff or even the hockey program itself. It's the athletic program. It's the school.
Yep.
It's the lack of because there's been talks and talks and talks about a new facility for the women and whatnot. And last year, there was talks like, oh yeah, we're going to get this. We're going to get this new facility.
Yep.
There's no ground broken on
Nope.
that.
Nope.
There's no place that they have found to put it. So what? It's just a bunch of lip service to people who are like, hey, you know that your women's team is so amazing, they could get a new facility.
Yep.
And they're just like, oh yeah, we'll do that.
No.
Anyway, football. That's just
right.
how it goes. It's like, okay, you're just saying that they will. Maybe
No.
in the back of their mind, like we will in 15 years, or some shit like that.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
You're absolutely right, Hefty Doc. Historically, you look at Ohio State, it's just they have a football only mindset. They're okay with being a football school, which is fine. You can have that mindset, but then don't be surprised when your other teams aren't doing very good because you didn't make the time and effort to put effort into those other teams. Don't be surprised that you lose out on so much talent that could be coming your way. Don't be surprised when a guy like a Caden Lindstrom says why he picked Michigan State and not Ohio State, even though Aaron Portzline said that, Ohio State was in the running, one of 3 Big Ten schools, when it turns out, well, okay, but no, because it was Michigan State. So it's like, it's okay. You want to have a football only mindset, that's fine. But don't be surprised when your other sports aren't doing very good because you're just interested in being a football only school. And what Hefty Duck has brought up is like, oh yeah, I've heard that same exact thing. It's like, well, yeah, we're going to vote on it. We're going to vote on it. Yeah, we're going to get a new hockey facility. We're going to vote on it. And Aaron Portzline has talked about this in some of his articles too. And it's like, well, it's just, it goes nowhere. You're just saying that you're going to do it, which is cool. It sounds good, but like, it doesn't really mean anything if you're not going to actually do it. And this is the unfortunate reality, is that I don't like saying this, but when you look at other schools in the Big Ten, you realize that Ohio State, they're falling behind their Big Ten competition. We showed it most recently on a show how this past season, Ohio State had the worst hockey attendance in the Big Ten. Out of
Well, they
all,
didn't have the worst record.
no,
But they actually did pretty decent, but not like
they made it. They made it to the NCAA. They lost in the Big Ten championship game, and they made it to the NCAA tournament. So don't, you're falling behind here. When I look at other schools, I see a Michigan, I see a Minnesota, I see a Michigan State, I see a Penn State, I see a Wisconsin, and I see what they're doing. They're putting more effort in their hockey team, and they're rewarded for it. They're more good consistently. They're getting better players to come, which means better hockey program. They're getting more prepared for the NHL, better facilities. Like, you can do that too, Ohio State. You can do that too. It's not acceptable to just have a football only mindset anymore, because you're falling behind your Big Ten competition. And Penn State, they just got picked to play in an outdoor hockey game at their football stadium, or they're playing Michigan State. In part, that happens because you look at Penn State, they've put more effort into their hockey program. They got a new hockey facility. They've gotten better players. They're just coming off their best season ever to the Frozen Four. And now they get Gavin McKinnon. Now they get Jackson Smith, Blue Jackets prospect, Jackson Smith. And then they're getting all these other top guys to come. And then they're rewarded for it with an outdoor hockey game. Like, that stuff matters. Like, that's how you do it. You put more effort, you get rewarded. And, when you see it at Ohio State, I just don't think they're really interested, which is amazing to see how, despite that, Ohio State has had success with hockey, both in the men's and the women's. You hear, oh, well, maybe we'll do it. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, we'll do it. We'll vote on it. We'll get a new hockey facility. And then you hear that for years, and it's not really going anywhere. So that just, in my opinion, just kind of tells you where they really are. Like you said, lip service. They're just interested in saying something about it, but not actually doing it. And that's fine, but don't be surprised when you lose out on talent that could come there. Don't be surprised when your other programs, your basketball team or your baseball team or your hockey team, aren't doing as well. Don't be surprised that you're not getting the top guys to come, because a school like Ohio State, that should be happening. It should be. You'd be like, hey, we're Ohio State. We're the best of the best. We're one of the best schools out there. You can go to a good school, get a good education, but also you can come here and you can play in a good sport. You can't always say that, unfortunately, but that's just how it is.
Unfortunate, but hopefully we'll see things trend the right way soon.
That's right. So next up, I'm going to put this up on the screen. So the Blue Jackets just did this video of there was a line around the block to get into training camp practice. Like, look at this.
Training camp practice. That's a ridiculously long line. Like, it goes down the sidewalk, like up the road. Wow. Columbus is a hockey.
Like, look at that. It's around the block.
Just for some stuff that, like, doesn't even, like, I don't want to say it doesn't matter, but, like, it's not like it's for a game, like a real in-season game.
Yeah.
Like, that's sick. I'd love to see it.
Like, that's around the block, and that's kind of out by, like, kind of like the R-Bar area.
Yeah.
That's ridiculously good. That's wow. And I've been to one of those. In 2014, I went to the Blue Jackets training camp, and it was awesome. A lot of fun. but like, and you know, there was a good crowd there and everything, but not like this. Just wow, just really awesome. So shout out to you, Blue Jackets fans. This is awesome. Now, next up, I would like to talk about this is that when you watch a lot of the coaches and Don Waddell and all the Blue Jackets players talk to the Columbus media, the basic idea is this. We're disappointed that we didn't make the playoffs, but we like how our season went. Real good season. We did better than expected. So much positive momentum that we built that season. And now we're ready to take that next step and build on that and go further and get into the playoffs. And that's a basic idea, generally speaking, of what you hear from different Blue Jackets players and Dean Evison and Don Waddell when talking to the Columbus media these first couple days of training camp here, which is we didn't like that we missed the playoffs, but overall we liked what we did last season. It was a good season. We did better than expected. So much positive momentum that we built on, and now the next step is we want to build on the success that we had this past season and go from there and make the playoffs. And I like that. And I think that's the right mindset to have, is that you should have a mindset like that, is that, you know what, didn't like that we made the playoffs, but we did way better than expected. No one was expecting us to be that good. So much positive energy and momentum that was built during that season. And now the next step is just to keep that going and build on that. Build on all the positive momentum and energy that you built up that entire season, and just see how far you can go and get into the playoffs and just go. See how far you can go.
Yeah, I mean, the expectation this year is playoffs. It's playoffs or bust at this point. Um, if for some reason they're as close as they were last season or something like that, that's still better than a bit before, but I would be genuinely surprised. They're gonna win the division? Maybe not. I mean, that's a hard thing to do, and
Yeah.
they've rarely been close, even in good years sometimes. But um, yeah, I'm looking forward a lot. I'm very hopeful for this season. Last season, I mean, this time last year, we were all still reeling from Johnny Gaudreau passing away.
Yeah.
Um, that was a huge blow right before the season started, emotionally, mentally, and just to the entire team and the talent level on the team in general. And besides that, it's both Johnny and Matthew, their families lost them and everything like that. But like my point being, I didn't feel helpless or hopeless. I mean, sorry, at the start of last season, I
Yeah.
really looked at like the entire situation. I'm like, okay, well, yeah, I couldn't imagine anything much more unfortunate than what happening. But I felt that the players were going to rally around themselves.
Yeah. Well,
With bringing in the new coach as well and having Don Waddell there being brand new, I think that may have helped them move forward. And looking at that, having those two new guys also just kind of gave me a bit of hope then as well, because we're getting a new pair of eyes in there. We're getting two new pairs of eyes in there. Not only one on the highest level of general manager, but then on the level of Dean Evison as well. So, yeah, didn't know what to expect last year, but I was hopeful. This year, I feel like I know what to expect, and I'm more hopeful.
yes.
And um, I don't know. The preseason predictions are always really, really hard because last year everyone would have, like, no one would have guessed that they would have been like one game out from the playoffs.
Right.
If it's something similar this year, I can't imagine it being much more than one game out.
Yeah.
But I can very well imagine seeing the Blue Jackets going up against what is it usually, Tampa Bay, or is it this?
Well, historically, the Blue Jackets have every team that they played against when they made the playoffs, it's been Detroit, then it was Pittsburgh, then it was Pittsburgh again, then it was the Capitals, then it was the Lightning who they beat, and then it was the Bruins, and they lost that series, but they did get 2 games. They got games 2 and 3. That's something that you've never done. You never won a game in the second rounds. That's an important milestone for the Blue Jackets. Important step in the right direction. That does count for something. And then the following year, you beat Toronto and you play the Lightning again. So basically, minus Toronto and Detroit and the Capitals, they've played Tampa Bay and Pittsburgh multiple times in those respective seasons during the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I always love a series against Schittsburg, but I don't know too terribly much about how their team's going to be doing this year. But I do know that a lot of people are wondering why Sidney Crosby's staying still. Instead of trying to get traded out and going for a cup somewhere else. But I got a lot of respect for Sidney Crosby, though. He's what he does every year with their season tickets thing. He goes and delivers them himself is so cool. But then also he's come out. He's like, I'm going to retire a Penguin. So anyway, I just thought that was not to compliment the competition, but got respect for someone that's that big of a legend.
I kind of feel like that this happens with teams where like you're kind of in a position where maybe you can make the argument that, okay, maybe you should start the process of rebuilding, but you can't because you still have a guy like a Sidney Crosby or an Evgeny Malkin that like it's almost would be seen as disrespectful to them to start a rebuild while you still have them on the team, that like you, to a certain degree, essentially are still kind of stuck to where you still have to try and be more competitive and really go for it because you have those guys on the team. Whereas if you wouldn't necessarily, like, regardless of where you are, rebuild, retool, somewhere in the middle, or team that's a contender fighting for the playoffs, Stanley Cup, whatnot, you're always going to try your best. You're always going to try your best and win. But maybe the pressure isn't as big if you don't have guys like a Sidney Crosby or a Malkin on your team. Compare if you didn't, like, it'd be a lot easier to make that argument. But it happened to the Blackhawks too. It's like they still had Kane and Taves, and it's like probably should have started your rebuild a year or two ago sooner. But you had those guys, and you kind of felt like you still kind of had to be somewhat competitive because you had those guys on your team. So that's just what I kind of wonder about Pittsburgh, is if they still kind of have to do that.
Well, what is their farm team? Because their farm team, is it the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins?
Yeah, Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins.
Okay. Because like I thought that they did pretty well in the AHL at one point. In fact, I also might be thinking of the Hershey Bears.
Yeah,
I think it's just all those teams in Pennsylvania are the same.
Yeah.
Shout out to our own Michkov's kitten out there.
Hard C, good guy, Hard C. No, but I would like to say this is that going into last season, it's like, man, you just didn't really know what's going to go on, because it's like you didn't have a very good season. It was an improvement because you had a 58-point season and you have a 66-point season, and you get 2 more wins. So that is a better season. There is improvement there, but it's still not good enough because ultimately you make the decision to get Don Waddell and you get rid of Pascal Vincent and you get Dean Evison. And then it's like, okay, well, how's that going to go? New coach, new GM, how's that going to go? And then you're like, Well, Patrick Laine, what's that situation going to be like? Because he wants to be traded, and is he going to get out of the mental health program? And then he does, and it's like, well, okay, he wants to get traded. Are you going to be able to trade him, or are you going to have to, tell him straight up, like, you're going to have to show up to training camp preseason and just play your butt off, and maybe if you play good enough for the Blue Jackets in training camp, preseason, and the regular season, then we can get someone to trade you. That was a possibility. The whole new potential issue. You didn't know what was going on with that. But then Patrick Laine gets traded. It's like, okay, well, that's fixed. And then, Johnny Gaudreau and his brother, Matthew Gaudreau, they unfortunately die. And then strategically, from a hockey standpoint, you're like, oh, crap. Like, what are the Blue Jackets going to do? You don't essentially just lost one of your best players. Like, what do you do now? So there was that hanging over him, and there was that uncertainty that was there. And, you weren't expected to be very good. So there was that. But then, you have the season that you just had, which is way better than expected. You had a 23-point improvement. You just missed the playoffs by one game. And you had games where you just smoked teams. This wasn't just like a once or twice thing, or you had like one or two games where you smoked them. No. There were games throughout the season where the Blue Jackets just smoked teams, just dominated teams, just destroyed them. They scored 6 goals 15 times. Ridiculously good. Like, I've been following the Blue Jackets since 2009. I've never heard of such a thing with the Blue Jackets to score 6 goals that many times. You had one of the best offenses in the NHL, top 10 in scoring. You had the best 5-on-5 scoring in the NHL this past season. Your home power play was ridiculously good, over 26%. You did way better than expected. So, like, when you have that, it's like, wow, that was awesome. And now looking back at it now, you're like, oh, that was awesome. And fast forward now, 1 year later, going into this season with training camp, you're like, okay, you know what? I feel pretty good about myself right now. And I feel like that the Blue Jackets are probably going to do some good stuff here, based off of what they just did and so much positive energy and momentum that they built up that past season. How are they going to build on that? And you feel good about that, you know what? You're feeling pretty good here, and that they're going to do something good here, more likely than not.
Yep. So I don't have very much for topics left here tonight.
I got
What
stuff.
would you like to do next? Would you like to do your tribute for Uncle Doc?
That will be coming up really shortly here. But first, there's some hockey jersey concepts I wanted to share on the show last week, but we ran out of time. What you got? Was not able to do it, but we'll do that. I just gotta put it up on the screen here because I'm looking through my bookmarks right now. So we'll get there. We're gonna get there. So first, and these are some good hockey jersey concepts here. There's some good ones here. So we're gonna put it up on the screen here as soon as I find it. Okay, here's the first one. So essentially, this is from Jersey Nerds on Twitter, and he essentially took the Blue Jackets regular home jersey, and instead of blue, red, white, it's now dark blue, light blue with a little white. And he changed the pants from red pants to light blue pants. And honestly, I really like the light blue pants here. And like the gloves look good. Like, I like this.
This is a really good combination almost between the third, using that light blue color. I'm a big fan of this light blue color,
Yeah,
and part of it is because, like, if you look at the original Union Blue Soldiers uniforms,
yeah, yeah,
sorry, I had to take a drink there. They were wearing almost like what looks kind of like denim jeans. I don't know that it was denim because I'm not sure if that was much of a thing at the time, but they were like a lighter blue material,
yeah,
maybe a tiny bit lighter than what we see here in this photo, but
yeah,
um, there's like little bits of red, of course, because it has the original logo, the original Blue Jackets. Well, not the original, but like the main Blue Jackets logo of the C making the Ohio flag, and then the
yeah,
star in there and whatnot. So, um, I do like that they took a lot of the red out of it, and there's still a little bit of red on the cannon patch on the shoulders too. So you're leaving those little bits um, in there because a little bit's fine, but if you put that bright red next to the blue, that color blue,
yeah,
it's hard on the eyes, I think.
yeah.
Overall, I'd give this a good old. This would be an 8 out of 10. I think it'd be really cool. I think it would
Mm-hmm.
almost be cool to make the logo on the front black and gray or black and white. You know, um, just to take all the color out of it, so it would just be a little bit more subtle, or just the Canon logo from the
Yeah,
outdoor jersey. But this looks like it was from 2021, so they
yeah.
wouldn't have had that logo yet.
No, April 2021.
Oh, look
So
at that first comment down there. Hunter J or whatever. He says, feel like there's too much red on the logo to leave it. They almost need the red as a tertiary color. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And tertiary. So when you're talking about like color theory on the color wheel, you have your complementary, your triad, and then you have your like tertiary. Um, and so that's exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe just like a slight different shade of red, or like make it
like
a different
blue.
logo a little bit.
Yeah,
But overall, 7.5 out of 10. Did I say 8
yeah,
out of 10 earlier? I'll get a
yeah.
7.5.
So yeah, definitely from April 2021. So they definitely had no knowledge of what the Blue Jackets would do with the outdoor game in 2025.
Right. Someone would have let it slip early, guaranteed.
Yeah. So
Do
that's
that.
the all right. Next up, we're gonna have we got this one right here. So essentially, they took the Blue Jackets outdoor game jersey and made some slight modifications to it. The chevrons on there, it's red, a lot more red striping. They're outside of the cannon. There's not really any silver on it. The shoulder, it's two shoulder patches. The CBJ shoulder patch. There's that. There's a little star above the chevrons there. And the striping, I like that at the bottom. It's a little red with the white outlined in the dark blue. And then essentially it's a white version of that where red chevrons, the star, the numbers are blue outlined in red. The Canon logo from the outdoor game, and then the CBJ shoulder patch from the outdoor game.
I like these a lot. So to our audio listeners, it's also shown on the screen. There was like a concept battle between the Columbus, which I believe the person who made it was Chicago Ghosts is their name, and
Yeah.
then Carter Richard or Carter Richard made the Ottawa ones. The Ottawa ones are pretty cool too. But anyway, back to the Blue Jackets ones. Overall, the Union Blue one, I'm a big fan of. I like it. I just feel like the chevron stripes being red is just a bit like the touch too much red, or maybe like thin the collar line out
Yeah.
or something like that. Or the thing that I like about the waist stripe is if this was for the Ohio State outdoor games, the red and white down there has a kind of OSU vibe to it. If they made it
Yeah.
silver, it'd be
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
The one thing about the away jersey,
That's
this reminds me of a Caps jersey for some reason.
yeah.
And I think it's because they have like the wing patches or something like that on their, or like a W or something on their sleeves,
Yeah.
with like an eagle or some sort of something. And not that I dislike it, but they're nice. I think for the blue one, I'd give that one a good solid 8 out of 10. For the white one, give it 7 out of 10. I don't like I'm not I'm not against the CBJ cross stick shoulder patches. I
Yeah.
just do think that there's other nicer ones.
Yeah.
Just personal.
I, it's just a bit too much red for my liking on the white one. I need to see more blue here.
That's what makes me it gives me the Caps vibes.
Yeah. I need to see more blue here. Like make the chevrons blue. Like I need to see more blue here. That's just me. Let's see. Okay, next up. Okay, so essentially, this is a really cool one, also from the Jersey Nerds. The inspiration essentially comes from just like what a Union soldier would wear during the Civil War, and I really like this.
That's cool for audio listeners. I'll describe it a little bit. So there's a blue home and away, so dark blue and white. And on the home jersey, so it's navy, whole thing's navy. It's got mostly red striping. So there's like a red almost sash going to a red like belt, which is a throwback to, and they have a picture here of the Union soldier, and they have that one leather uh strap going around their body, which is probably to like their gunpowder or something of the sorts.
Yeah.
And then around their belt around where the waist is a belt, a golden belt that I think has like a holster in it maybe, and probably some other things to fight a war with. And so I like that. And this was pre outdoor jersey too, so the chevron hadn't really been thought of too terribly much.
No.
Otherwise, that would have been really cool on the shoulders here, or the
Yeah.
sleeves, the elbows. There's a red stripe around the elbows too, and all of these red stripes have a white outline around them. The only place I wish that red outline was not was where the sash one meets the belt one. There's like, I mean, I get it because the belt is different. It's like on top of the sash, here, but there's a lot of red in this for me too. Not opposed to it. I think it would have been really neat with their jersey colors. Just to keep some of the red out of it, because I understand like you have 3 colors to choose from, and you can't make everything white and everything silver. And then for the away jersey one, so it's all that same thing except for the striping is the blue, and then on the outside of the blue stripes is like a white and then red stripe. Red shorts, white socks, blue and red stripes on the socks and everything. And overall, I like this a lot. I think it's funny that they switched the C logo with the Canon patch logo with the red, white, and blue colors instead of the third jersey coloring. Overall, I like this concept. I think it could be refined a little bit better. I'll give this a 7.5 out of 10. Maybe with a couple tweaks here and there, it could be a really, really cool concept.
That's definitely, I like this, and I like this as good jersey concepts. The blue is good, and the white, that's definitely one of the better white jerseys as a jersey concept that I've seen for the Blue Jackets. And it's a common thing I've seen where people make jersey concepts for the Blue Jackets, and they take the Canon logo, they stick it on the front of the jersey, and use the stereotypical flag logo, which is the main logo for the Blue Jackets, and use it as a shoulder patch.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We got two more. Because I'm looking at my bookmarks here. So, this one, actually 3 of them. This one is dark blue jersey, the Canon logo, and then there's a lot. Let's see here. Okay, March of 2005. March of 2025. So they definitely saw the Blue Jackets outdoor game and said, you know what? Let's be like that and put a crap ton of silver on it.
I'm not opposed to, because cannons are generally like a metal, so I can view the silver as being metal.
Yeah.
As opposed to, scarlet and gray, just that or something. There's so much going on here. Holy shit.
Yeah.
So was once again they're like putting like one up against the other one, like one team, like one guy's concept versus another guy's concept. And this is the Blue Jackets versus the Solar Bears here. The is that the Orlando Solar Bears? Yeah. Those are sick. They have a bunch of sunset colors on them. They look real retro 90s. They're awesome. But anyway, to the Blue Jackets ones. So there's a home, away, and a third jersey here. So I'll describe the home one real quick. First, it's navy blue, Union blue, with red and silver stripes on the sleeves. Now the silver stripes on the sleeves are like 4 times wider than the red ones, and they're at like an angle, kind of coming down, like the like opposite of the way that the chevrons were on the outdoor jerseys. But then they have the cannon patch logo in the middle. So it's like not just the Canon logo that the outdoor jerseys were, but it's the whole round patch with the banner on the inside of it. Silver and red stripe around the waist, white star, white stripes around the wrist. The away jersey is just white in the middle instead of Union blue. The only change is literally like the main middle jersey part. Now, here's where shit hits the fan and goes crazy. So we have a third jersey concept here. This third jersey concept starts off by using the old Blue Jackets logo, the one that has like the CB with the hockey stick going through it to do the J, which to me always looks like CJB, which whatever. I'm not here to judge. So that's the logo in the center. It's a kind of a Union blue style, but it's a little bit lighter of a Union blue than the other uniform here next to it. Pretty normal so far. Now, the shoulders and on the sleeves, kind of going around from the shoulders down to the sleeves a bit, there is a broad red stripe surrounded by silver. Now, here's what I don't particularly like about it. One, I think it's a lot of red, but two, so there's chevrons on the sleeves, and these chevrons, like at the bottom, like we know what the star normally is on like the regular jerseys. It is stinger green. And it just next to the red, like, bro, next to the red. I like Stinger green on Stinger. I don't like it on jerseys.
That's right.
And then around the waist is like a Wonder Woman looking belt. Almost. It's like a stripe that like comes down in a V, pointing like kind of down at your junk. That's the first thing I think of when I see it. It's kind of like an arrow pointing down, straight down the middle of your body. And so it's a fat red stripe with 5 stars in the middle of it, and then surrounded by silver stripes there too. First two, solid. I give them easily 7s to 8s, roughly ish. Just not a big fan of how wide the silver stripe is. But the third jersey concept, this is 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being a little generous.
Yeah.
I'm not even trying to dog on the artist here, but it's just not my taste.
Yeah. All right. Next up, one last jersey concept for the day.
Ooh. Oh. Okay. I'll tell our audio listeners why I said ooh, and then this is ugly because this is sick though. So once again, these have all been like jersey concept jersey wars, so to speak, or battles, and this one comes from May 2025, so they're all familiar with the concepts of all the other ones. This one happens to be a Blue Jackets jersey concept versus another Blue Jackets jersey concept. The first one has a home and away, and they're kind of modeled after the outdoor jerseys. There's no silver, there's no gold. There is the outdoor jersey can logo in the middle with a kind of lighter blue, like we saw with the original, like that very first one. It's almost like the light blue from the third jersey.
Yep.
But instead of like cream color, there is just regular white on here. There's regular red on here. They have like a kind of like a slanted stripe on the elbows, dark blue pants, light blue knees, dark blue ankles with the red and white strip around there. That's the home one. The away one is basically just white with like a lighter blue shorts. I like this one, although I feel like the red next to that blue, remember I said that earlier today, it's a little bit harsh in the eyes, and then it feels weird on the away how
Yeah.
much light blue there is. If anything that was light blue on the away was dark blue, it would be a 9 out of 10 for me. The first one, because it's interesting, because I like that light blue, I'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. And the only reason I'm knocking that is just because of it being so close. Otherwise, it'd be 2 points up. I gotta ask you about these ones then too. So the next concepts that we have, another home and away jersey. So once again, these are using the Blue Jackets original logo, the C and the B with the hockey stick and the star. And unfortunately these ones use more standard green, and these ones put it directly next to the red, like multiple stripes on the sleeves, or on the elbow. There's like 2 red stripes with 3 bright neon green stripes. There's neon green stripes and red stripes around the waist, around the collar, and it's the exact same for the away jersey. It's just white, and it's just not like, why you look. And if you look at the who moves out of Group A, the original, the first concept that we were just talking about on the votes here on Jersey Nerds, Burkus Circus ran away with it, almost 80% to 20%, and I agree with that here. The second ones are just kind of hideous. What's your take on this?
So I really like this light blue jersey. I like that color. It's awesome. And honestly, the underrated jersey concept, because I have seen light blue jersey concepts for the Blue Jackets, but 9 times out of 10, if someone is doing a jersey concept for the Blue Jackets, it's going to be their stereotypical dark blue, which is good. But I like when people do something different and take a chance, and that's exactly what you're doing with the light blue jersey, and I like that. Light blue, and then the collar dark blue, red, white, dark blue, like dark blue pants, light blue socks, but then the light blue, the white, the dark blue. Like, I like this. This is good color contrast. The white's okay, but it's like, it again, like, I don't know, too much red. I think that should have been dark blue right there.
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. The state of Ohio patch on this one here is cool. I like that. And I like the shade of dark blue that they use. It's just everything else is not very good,
Yeah. Literally, if they just made the neon green white, it would be fine.
Yeah.
It would be fine.
Yeah. So that's that. I have another hockey jersey concept, but I'm going to save that for the next show.
Cool.
So there's that. And anyways, we move on to the final part of our show today. Is that I said there'd be a tribute to my awesome Uncle Doc, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Is that this past Friday, September 19th, 2025, was unfortunately 1 year since my Uncle Doc unfortunately died. And if you watch the show within the last over year or so, you know that I always give a shout out to him at the end of the show. And I've had people die in my family, and it sucks, and I hate it, and it's not fun. And those were tough days, rough days. But it was nothing like this, because my Uncle Doc is truly the best of the best, one of my favorite people in my family. Always someone that you could always talk to, the life of the party, someone you look forward to seeing, whether that be at like holidays like Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter, or family get-togethers, family parties, like birthday parties. Doc was always there, and he was so fun to talk to, so fun to hang out with. And he was a big sports guy, baseball, football, hockey, basketball. fun to talk sports with. And, I'm very much into sports, and Doc has played a role in that. That's a big reason why I am the way I am right now. My 33 years of life, Doc has played a role in that. Most importantly, he was a really big hockey guy. And I love talking hockey with him. He was a big Blackhawks guy, but the Blue Jackets became his second favorite hockey team because of me. I've told this story many times on the show, but I'll say it again. In January of 2020, I did a big Ohio trip. I went to Cincinnati, I went to Columbus, and I went to Canton. Did some fun stuff down in Cincinnati, and then I went up to Columbus. I saw 2 Blue Jackets games, Ohio State hockey game, and then the Blue Jackets had an away game against the Rangers in New York, and our bar had a game watch party that day, so I was at our bar and I watched it there. And that so happened to be the game that Matiss Kivlenieks had, which was his best game ever with the Blue Jackets, where the Blue Jackets won that game 2-1, and a big reason why, because Matiss Kivlenieks was just ridiculously good that game, to where he stole the game. He was so good that he gave the Blue Jackets a chance to hang in there and get their feet under them, and eventually they would win that game, because Oliver Bjorkstrand took over the third period and had a 2-goal third period, and that's why they won that game. And one of the Blue Jackets games that I went to was military night against the Carolina Hurricanes, and one of the giveaway that day was a blue camo Blue Jackets hat. We had like 3 of them. And one, so like my dad took one, I took one, and then my dad's like, what are we going to do with this third one? And my dad's like, we'll give it to Doc. And that's exactly what we did, is that we came home from that trip and we gave it to Doc. And Doc loved that hat. He wore it all the time, especially at his cooking job. He had a cooking job at a restaurant by my house called Stuckey's. And he would always wear that hat at his cooking job. And he would tell me that when he wore his Blue Jackets hat to his cooking job, his coworkers would tell him, oh, that's a cool hat. What's that? And he'd say, oh, it's a Blue Jackets hat. Hockey. My nephew gave this to me. Like, oh, that's cool. That's a cool hat. And he'd always tell me that story. And I thought that was so cool, and it meant so much to me. Over the years, I've had street hockey tournaments at the high school that's right by my house. They had this like really cool tennis court there that we played hockey there on, street hockey, and it was awesome. And every year, my Uncle Doc was the one to be there to show love and support for me. He was the one that helped me run this hockey tournament. He helped set up the brackets. He would go out of his way and spend his own money to get a new scoreboard that we used for the street hockey tournaments. He would go out of his own way to take me to a big hockey store called Total Hockey down in Schaumburg, Illinois. He didn't have to do that because that was out of the way. That was an hour car ride each way. That was an hour south from where I live. He would take me an hour south down to Schaumburg, Illinois, to go to the hockey store, and then he would buy hockey stuff with his own money. He didn't have to do that, but he did. And then he would drive me back home. So he'd go an hour down south, and then he'd go an hour back up north. And sometimes those drives were kind of hard. There was a lot of traffic because, Schaumburg, Illinois, that's kind of more the more fancy, artsy-fartsy kind of, rich people area down there. A lot of rich people down there. A lot of big-time restaurants and stores, and you got a big fancy mall down there. A lot of stuff down there. So he took me to that. And if there's something up with the hockey stick, he would take that hockey stick back to his house, and he would take some stick wax and some hockey tape or whatever else needed to be done to fix those hockey sticks. He would fix it. And then the next time I saw him, he'd bring back the hockey stick and it'd be ready to go for the next street hockey tournament. He would go out of his way to try and get people to come to the street hockey tournaments. And he had some success doing that. So there's that. And I love talking hockey with him. He was a lot of fun. I was wonder if he was still here, if I could still talk to him, I could get his thoughts on how he thought the Blackhawks season went. And then I could get tell my thoughts on how the Blue Jackets season went. And then I could get my thoughts on how I think the Blue Jackets season is going to go. And then he could give me his thoughts on how he thinks the Blackhawks are going to do this season. Another thing that, why he was just so important to not just me and the family, but me specifically, was, I've said this many times on the show and say it again, is that, I'm on autism spectrum. That's me. I'm on the autism spectrum. And, there are challenges with that. And there's also things that I'm able to do because of that I would not have been able to do if I didn't have that. Example is that if you're like me and you're on the autism spectrum, you are more specifically NLD, which is what I have. If you are like one of those types of people like me, you are more likely to have very high verbal IQ skills, which means you're going to, in some ways, going to do better in social situations, and you're a much better talker, which you can use that to your advantage, which I have. But also on the flip side of that, you're also, if you're like me, you're probably going to have some issues with some social situations because you have a hard time picking up on people's body language or their social cues, or what did they mean when they say by that. There's been some difficulties in my life because of that, and because that, it's not a boo-hoo, Kevin, or anything, but the truth is I didn't have a lot of friends growing up. When I went to school, there wasn't a lot of friends, growing up. I was lower on the totem pole. It is what it is. And because of that, there were sometimes it just weren't very fun. And a lot of my family friends, a lot of my family were my friends. I didn't really hang out with a lot of people at school, and then I'd go home and I'd hang out with my family. My Uncle Doc was one of those people. He always hung out with me, always talked to me, and he treated me for me. He didn't treat me any different. He treated me for me. That's not always the case, because unfortunately some people in this world, they treat, if you are different in any way, shape, or form, you're in a wheelchair, you're on the autism spectrum, you're this, you're that sometimes for some people, they unfortunately treat you differently. And that sucks. That's not very fun. But my Uncle Doc never did that. Yes, he knew that I was on the autism spectrum, and yes, he knew that there was some stuff going on with that, some challenges, some difficulties, but he never treated me differently. He treated me just me for who I was. I'm so fortunate and thankful and grateful that he did that, and I had someone like my Uncle Doc, that he always treated me for me. And I wish he was still here. Unfortunately, he's not, but I wish he was still here, because such a damn good guy, a great guy, such a fun guy to be with, the life of the party. I enjoy seeing you at family get-togethers and birthday parties and holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's and Easter and so much more. So I I could go on a nice long rant here, but we don't have the time for that. There'll be some other time. But to finish this off, shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. I really wish you were still here so I could, talk to you. I really wish you're still here so I could talk to you and hang out with you and see you at birthday parties and family get-togethers and Thanksgiving and Christmas and Easter and so much more. I wish that you were still here so I could talk hockey with you. But shout out to my awesome Uncle Doc. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, rest in peace, Uncle Doc. I didn't know the man, but hearing you talk about him, it's very warming.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah. So thank you. Anyways, couple last things for me, then we'll get to you. You can share your stuff, I'll share mine, and then we'll get out of here. So, just like just like Hartsey said, I agree it's a great event. He's talking about the march that Union Blue Soldiers will be doing, and Hartsey's gone to that event. It's a great event, and you should be going. You should be like Hartsey, and you should come to our march. So check out. You should check out. Boom. Check out our march. Check out the next march of the Union Army that Union Blue Soldiers is doing on Monday, October 13th, 2025, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m. This is the best of the best. This is the best event. This is the event that you want to go to before the Blue Jackets home opener. So join Union Blue Soldiers for their annual march on Monday, October 13th, 2025, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m. We are marching on the Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets. This is the event that you want to go to before the Blue Jackets home opener. And I'm going to play a video from different marches that we've had. So here we go. So, one last time, join the march. October 13th, 2025, R-Bar, 6 o'clock p.m. You never know what's going to happen. You could be on TV. Stinger. You could have, look at this. You could be on TV. Stinger. He could show up, because that has happened. Stinger has showed up to 3 of my marches. So, you never know what could happen. You could be on TV. Stinger could show up, and a whole bunch of other stuff. That's the beauty. That's the fun surprise of the marches that I do. You never know what could happen. So check us out. And we're not going to say it yet. We're going to hold off on that, but pretty soon here, Hefty Duck, he's got some fun stuff planned for the march too, and we're going to reveal that. Not now, but it's coming pretty quick. So that's another reason to come. What kind of fun surprises does Hefty Duck have planned for the march? Hefty Duck knows what they are. I know what they are. It's pretty fun. It's pretty cool. So a lot of fun stuff going on. So
Hell yeah.
One last time, join the march. Join Union Blue Soldiers for their annual March of the Union Army on Monday, October 13th, 2025, our bar, 6 o'clock p.m. Join Union Blue Soldiers and your fellow Blue Jackets fans as we march on to Nationwide Arena to cheer on the Blue Jackets.
Be there.
Be there. Yes. And then one last thing for me. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. Follow Union Blue Soldiers on all social media platforms. Check out Union Blue Soldiers. So that's it for me for now. Hefty Duck will say his things, and then we can get out of here.
We'll get on outie. Yeah, like as Kevin said, we got a couple surprises for the March. I mean, to those of you who met me at the last year's and the year before, 1 year I was passing out some hockey cards. I had some really cool ones, as well as just some, not as cool ones. But I know a couple people got their favorite players that year. I think last year we did some buttons. So keep an eye out for something kind of along those lines this year. I will be getting something for a giveaway here before too terribly long. I'd like to try to coincide it with the beginning of the season, but it's kind of getting down to crunch time here. So keep an eye out for a post for that. I will do it within the first month of the season starting, and we'll just do something cool. I think last time I gave away some hockey cards, and I think I gave away a puck and some other small stuff. We're not sponsored here over at the Brew Jackets. I am the show sponsor, basically. So, that's your support is any support from you guys is always a welcome. Some of that support is the freest, easiest way you can support us is by liking and sharing our content. If you enjoy our content, that's why we call everyone. That's why I call people viewers, not fans, because I don't know, maybe you're hate watching. More power to you. I love it. It's giving us some views, but yeah. So just that's one thing to keep in mind. You want to probably get in Columbus early that day, especially if it's being a holiday and whatnot. I highly recommend many of the surrounding hotels for before or after the game. I'm probably gonna get one for after the game because I don't want to drive 2 hours home at like midnight, which I wouldn't mind necessarily. It's just I don't want to do that. Anyway, this has been check me out on Instagram, lance.schrock.tattoos. I do a lot of artwork. I do tattoos. I've done a Blue Jackets tattoo recently with Stinger in it. Check that out. Leave a like if you would. Otherwise, check us out on Facebook. Check us out on YouTube. We are everywhere on the internet. Anywhere. If you want to listen to our audio podcast, you can listen to that from Spotify, Apple, Google, wherever. And just a reminder, because we had a bunch of nice comments earlier tonight from some great people. If you want to leave some comments on our stuff, we will, while we're live. This has to be while we're live during our stream. Generally, we will respond and we will talk about your comments live on air. We appreciate input from people. I love people not agreeing with us. It gives us fresh perspectives because oftentimes me and Kevin can be on kind of like the same wavelength with some stuff. So, yeah, it's good to get those different opinions out there, even if you're wrong. Just playing, but anyway, I appreciate all of you for tuning in tonight and the comments we got earlier. Find us here again 1 week from today, same time. That's going to be September the 27th at 7 p.m. We'll have some more preseason games to talk about, some more camp stuff, I think, probably some more interviews because the media's going nutso in Columbus now, which is fantastic. I love seeing that. It's time. It's time. 1 more month till real hockey starts mattering. And we'll be here through it all, I believe. So next month is going to be the start of our 4th season here in the Brew Jackets.
That's right.
And it's been a weird run. We've had our ups and we've had our downs, and we've had everything in between. And so far, been going strong here for the last few years. So looking forward to making it a 4th season with all of you out there in the viewer world. So have a good night, everybody. Have a good week. Enjoy some preseason hockey, and we'll see you Sunday.